When you open AutoCAD and you've made your changes, you've added the toolbars and things, this is kind of what your screen is going to look like. Now, the uh, the origin indicator here moves, depending upon where your screen is at, okay? So it doesn't always tell you where the 0 point is. But in this mode here, we got this red line and this green line. Those are the X and the Y axes. That shows you the origin. But our textbook doesn't, the examples in textbook, the screen doesn't look this way. So here's a change I want you to make to the snap settings is you'll come right down here to the status bar, and on the snap mode, you hit the pull down, and let's go to snap settings. And what we want to do is we want to display dotted grid. We want to turn that on and set the grid spacing to 1, and then turn off both of these, adaptive grid and display grid beyond limits. Okay, snap we can leave at 0.5. That'll be okay. And now we'll say okay. And see now it changes your display so that it gives a dot every 1 inch, and it just shows it within your limits. Now this, just starting out with AutoCAD, this will help you kind of stay focused on where your object, where you're drawing at. And if we pan outside of, away from the origin, you see the indicator goes to the very bottom of the corner of the screen. Whereas if we're in, if we've got the origin within our screen here, it stays anchored at the 0 point. So you're going to do that. Now, on doing a screen capture, I added the little snipping tool to my taskbar down here. That's the easiest way I found to do that. If you've never used it before, you can come over here in your menu and find, well, I thought it was going to be right there. So you just start typing snipping tool and bring it up, and you want to find it. Because I use it a lot in preparing lessons, I added it to the taskbar down at the bottom. But this say you start the snipping tool, you'll go new, and you can drag a rectangle and save it. You can do a window snip that will, well, it went to the other display on my thing. The easiest way is just go with rectangular, and you can just drag across your whole screen, and it'll do a capture there, and then you save it here. And I would prefer you to save them as a JPEG file, because when you upload it into Blackboard, I'll be able to see that easier, as opposed to a PNG file or one of those other kinds of things. So that's how the snipping tool works. I'm not going to say that. So make the changes um, to your grid display, and you've got your toolbars loaded here. And we talked about setting up a workspace setting right here, and then you kind of want to make these grid adaptations and save your workspace. If you go into workspace settings here, I find it best to leave it set here, do not save changes, because if you accidentally delete a menu bar, or especially if you delete one of your menu bars up here at the top or the palettes, you can just reload your workspace and it will come back up. Okay. And so that'll be that. I think that covered everything I wanted to do in this video. If you've got questions or problems, send me an email or come see me in the lab.